Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash the like button on this video like it's a pre-transition Ellen page, so it reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number 1, when you live by the algorithm, you die by the algorithm. The Daily Wire fired half of its staff as Ben Shapiro has lost 85% of his YouTube audience since last year. On the bright side though, it looks like he has 85% more eyebrows. Are people listening to Nick Fuentes instead? Or maybe people got pissed off for what he tried to do to Candace Owens. She's now getting twice as many views as Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire YouTube channels. Up next, women defend their desire to date only the top 10 to 20% of men, that it's their right in nature because of hypergamy. But then they shame those same top men when they refuse to settle down with them, even though they have endless optionality. Once they get run through, they take out their anger on the lower 80% of men, and then those men just go their own way and civilization crumbles. Low-status men are invisible to them unless they need an emotional punching bag. Remember that 80% of men have to share 20% of women, while 80% of women have to share the same 20% of men, if they're lucky. Number 3, here's one of those angry women because Chad won't sleep with her, let alone commit. Lena Dunham says that when she's president, no man will be allowed out of the house until he's 32. She's a feminist and that doesn't sound like equality to me. I wouldn't put it past the gynocracy to try and push crazy laws like this one day when they get more and more power. She's a woman who couldn't even succeed in life at being a 3 a.m. last resort booty call. Moving on, here's the absolute state of Canada in 2 of our political writings. Where's the diversity? Actually, I'm happy that the city of Brampton is mostly Indian. That means they're staying with their own people for the most part, and it helps highlight the areas that we need to stay away from. And you know that all this started with Trudeau trying to live out his dream of becoming a real-life Indian. Number 5, and speaking of enrichment, 60% of people in France believe that they're being replaced by non-Europeans. The other 40% are the ones doing the replacing. In other words, 100% of the native French folk believe that. But when will they stop using the term believe and instead realize that they are being replaced? Now we need to see who those people keep voting for. I bet it's mostly for the left that's flooding the country in the first place. I'm so tired of this. Up next, it's hard to believe anything we see these days. I once dated a woman who had been under the knife, and when she showed me pictures of herself, she was unrecognizable before. And women like this will attack men for looks maxing and trying to deceive them while they're already doing the same. No way that's the same person unless they change their eye color as well. But here's a real person. Apparently a member of the Turkish royal family. I guess her kids will look nothing like her. Moving on, meanwhile in Canada, rents are so expensive a few years ago that trading sex for rent was increasingly common, especially in the Indian parts of Brampton. If you wanted a good deal, then you had to move in with a guy for free so long as you're willing to have a friends with benefits relationship. That's how Jeets were able to advertise this legally. But it's still illegal. Unlike having an OnlyFans page and making money off of simps, sex for rent is technically illegal. Number 9, do you know that couples who spend less than $1,000 on their weddings have the lowest divorce rates? I think that tells you all you need to know. It's usually because the guy's a Chad and he wouldn't agree to a big wedding and has options. So he's going to say no to a $100,000 wedding because he has that optionality. I was proposed to in my mid-20s by a woman who didn't want a big wedding or expensive ring. She wanted me and not the lifestyle. Up next, apparently this student wore the same jeans 330 times without washing them, and scientists found no difference in bacteria before and after they were cleaned. That might be the case, but I bet he smelled like the capital of India while he was wearing them. You're not supposed to wash jeans all that often either. I wash my t-shirts, underwear, and socks every time I wear them. Jeans I wash maybe every 10 to 15 times I wear them. Tell me I'm wrong about that. But not washing them after almost a year is kind of wild. Number 11, people in Canada are saying it's the boomers keeping the Liberal Party in power. But I wouldn't blame all the boomers because it's 6 out of 7 boomer women voting for the Liberals. It's not a generational conflict so much as it's a gender-based one. Gen X women also heavily voted for the same party. I think that at this point the only thing that might change the boomers' mind on the Liberal Party is a home equity tax. Moving on, Poland introduces a 0% income tax for couples having 2 or more children. But I think it's too little too late. Apparently this is the promise from the president, but he doesn't have the power to make it a law. Besides, other countries have tried similar things like eliminating income tax for women after they've had a certain number of kids, and it barely moved the needle. Until we stop getting our dopamine from digital devices instead of each other, things won't change. Number 13, remember ladies, don't date ugly men. My only question is this one of the ugly men in the picture? But this is probably some Latina in the process of tortification, and she hasn't looked in the mirror since she started getting fat and ugly. As far as I'm concerned, whenever I spot a septum ring, I immediately reject the opinion of its owner. The truth is, dating apps make threes, expect to date and marry tens. Some simp would still wife this up, though. Up next, you want to know what the worst thing for a narcissist is. Criticism he or she can't control. Here's German Chancellor Merz, and he says that online anonymity isn't a good thing for him because it's hard for him to bear what people say about him. I'm sure he'll track them down and lock them up shortly. Yes, buddy, that's what free speech is all about. When people can say whatever they think about you or anyone else, and you can't stop them. Unfortunately for people in Germany, they don't have freedom of speech. Number 15, what does this mean to you? To me, it means that your life needs balance. I met some highly intelligent and educated people, and many of them were very poor, and they suffered because of it. I've also met some very successful businessmen, and they lacked any and all intellectual gifts or curiosity, and they suffered from imposter syndrome. I think you need to be smart, but not too smart to get in your own way, and you need to be rich, but not too rich to succumb to hedonism. I'm definitely in the third camp. Moving on, 3 women from New Zealand used their sexy time toys on a passed out drunken man. He was the boyfriend of one of these 3 women. They took photos without his consent while humiliating him. They were charged with 3 counts of indecent assault, and the jury found them not guilty. Yes, because the jury of their peers, probably women, didn't see a big deal about this. And I'm sure those were simps in the jury too, they would sided with them as well. If 3 men had done this, they would have gone away for many years. Number 17, this is also how entitled women have become recently. This one claims to be a conservative, yet she needs a man to marry her and raise her son as his own. Gee, I wonder what color the kid is. You'd probably be able to see him in this picture, but he blends too well into the background. If we want to get fertility rates above replacement without using technology, then we'll eventually need to ban dating apps entirely. Up next, here's a picture of that JP Morgan executive that turned one of her male traders into her sex slave. If she was smart, she'd start an OF page right now and make millions more than she's ever made in the first 24 hours to a week. She should advertise it by saying something, "Come watch my cannons." The man accusing her and suing JP Morgan is an Indian. If true, I'm sure millions of guys would pay $10 each to see her humiliate other Indian men on camera. It would be 50 Shades of Brown. Number 19, why does everyone pick on gamers? Because they're mostly men in the lamestream media. Women, BLM, and other groups want men's attention and money instead of men spending it on video games. Gaming is an escape from the society that all these groups have created. They also thrive on chaos and suffering, and people playing games are releasing their angst in a controllable way instead of unleashing it on the government and institutions. Moving on, why is it that it was your dream to live in a city as a child, while as you get older you dream of living in a cottage by the lake? If you're Canadian living in a place like Toronto, you can have both. You can travel 2 or 3 hours north each weekend to your cottage to escape the chaos of the city. As you age, your body and mind can't deal with the overstimulation of a city and traffic. It's 3 a.m. and I still hear motorcycles racing down the freeway right now. Number 21, who actually believes that there's a stay-at-home boyfriend trend, with more women than men going to work. If it's true, then why are women putting up with this? Aren't they supposed to be hypergamous and date men higher in status and financial hierarchy than they are? What gives? It's probably a bunch of unemployed chads that women are keeping at home and paying for everything so they have someone hot to smash. Maybe all those guys are working on their gaming channels or something like that. Up next, who's with me that we need this everywhere? France forces influencers to post a warning label with edited photos or they'll be fined. Suddenly all the women who are 7s and 8s online become 3s and 4s on the internet. Besides this, I'd go one step further and find people that are fat. Or on dating apps, they would be forced to show a full body shot that was completely unedited. Women are using more and more technology for attention, and they're going to get less and less of it as time goes on. Number 23, meet Tiana. She married James, a death row rapper, and then broke down as he was given a lethal injection in a Texas prison. Women do love their drama and they're dangerous convicts now, don't they? She was only married to him for 2 weeks, but can now put down on her dating profile that she's a widow, and no one will question why she's a single mother too. If you want to know why women do this sort of thing and men do not, then look up the term hybristophilia. Moving on, PewDiePie walked away from 111 million subscribers on YouTube to live a quiet family life in Japan. He still makes occasional content, but the grind is tiring. And I should know because I've made daily videos since early 2014. Plus, he doesn't have to care about diversity anymore and safety because of the ultra-low crime rates there. has he won in life? Hundreds of millions of dollars, beautiful Italian wife, and over 100 million subscribers on YouTube. Number 25 on the last one, Mary says that she's been wanting short hair, and today she cut it short. She could have showed off her face by simply putting her hair up in a ponytail and growing out some bangs, and putting on the same fake up. Now she just looks like she got a divorce. With short hair, she also looks more masculine. Regardless, she looks like she's in her late 30s or early 40s and not 51. But she could be using filters. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoy this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal Subscribe Star links. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.